Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4 with Black Ice, and of course we're playing as Japan. Just taking a drink there. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and would you do me a small favor, just a minor one? Hit that like button. I'll pause for a moment so you can just reduce the screen down or whatever so you can hit that like button. It really helps both me and you by you telling YouTube what you like to see, me by saying that my video is worth watching to the YouTube. Thanks so much for doing that. Let's continue this. How are we doing here? Let's move to there. We're trying to take out the Dutch East Indies. Okay, well, everybody attack again. You guys move up and hold. I am a little surprised we're pushing so well against the Americans. Oh, we got British out here too now. The British are in India as well. Support that attack. Now, where are our air bases? Okay, up there. So, you guys come up to here. You'll get some better coverage. 250. So, okay. I want to get rid of this guy. Deselect now. Disband that. That way you put all your aircraft in with the other one. That'll be a little better. And here, let's get rid of you entirely. And you also need to operate over East India too. That will help things along, hopefully well. And I know we have more down here. Just wanted to wait till we get some level of garrison troops. Come up that way. Mentioning that, how are we doing with our... Okay, we can... See, I don't care about these guys' quality, just get them in the field. Okay, come on down here. To Singapore. Let's see, where do they think we're... Okay, Hong Kong still... Hey, you guys can go there, I guess. Okay. And there, okay. 3 more to the Philippines. That should get us 3 to the Philippines, and we'll then send them around as needed. Okay, there we go. Hard to see which is the port. And let's send you guys down to there. That should help. Pursue, push, overrun. Take out that American with the M1 Garand. And of course, that's why they shouldn't be retreating at all, because they've got M1 Garands. M1 Garands are so much superior to anything the Japanese would use. And is why they should be kicking my butt. How do I say this? I don't know that Europeans should be making decline. Should be making war games. They don't have a lot of experience with things. I've had some conversations about firearms with some Europeans, and they tried to tell me that there wasn't much different. Wow, we've been taking out a lot of transports here. Hope we haven't been losing too many. That there wasn't too much difference between firing bolt-action rifles and semi-auto rifles. And I really have to wonder where the hell they got that impression. And I don't know. And I know both on chat here and in watching later on YouTube, a lot of you are Europeans, and you may be thinking I'm somehow, you know, why they think the way they think. I don't get at times about some of that stuff. That there isn't much difference between it. And so that there really isn't enough difference, or much of a difference, on the scale of Hearts of Iron 4 for a big difference between semi-auto and bolt-action rifles. That's what I was told. And how do you argue with that? I mean, how the hell do you argue with people? And yeah, some of them are veterans of the military. I don't know if the person I was talking to was in any combat. And I've talked to others too at different times, but I'm also thinking of a specific conversation that I had with somebody. But because I've been in literally the same day, sitting at the same time, shooting a Spanish-made post-World War II bolt-action Mauser, an FR8, that is made in 308. So it's a 308, made for 308 Mauser rifle for Spain post-war, after they sort of converted to doing NATO calibers. It's a bit lighter than the standard K98K of Germany. Decent, one of the last bolt-action rifles made. Is a military weapon. And firing an FN FAL, also in 308. And it is an incredibly different experience dealing with the recoil. You know, how fast you can keep things on, you know, how much recoil there is for weapons fatigue and everything else between that bolt action rifle and a semi-auto rifle. Shooting the exact same ammunition, pulling it out of, you know, boxes, a few rounds to the different guns. And it is an incredibly different experience, because that whole recoil, gas operating recoil system of the FN absorbs a lot of the recoil, where unless you have a pad, there is no other than a slight absorption just because of the mass of the gun for the bolt action. And so the shooting of an M1 Garand is so much less fatiguing on the shooter than shooting a Enfield rifle or a Mauser of it. So it is a tremendous improvement. Now, the reason I'm sort of saying Europeans shouldn't, because a lot of European soldiers, at least more modern ones, they've shot 223 rifles, which hardly have any kick. And they may have shot some hunting rifles or whatever else, and they don't have a lot of broad experience firing a lot of different firearms. And so that's sort of my prejudice here, but you can't, how do I explain that to people? You know, if you haven't experienced it and you just don't want to believe me. You know, when I say this. What can happen? Oh, up here. Yeah, and you can watch gun videos, and they're good, and they're nice, and I watch a lot of them too. But I would say, let's be somewhat generous. I was within 20 feet of, because of some conventions in the past, now this is long in the past, within 20 feet of them firing lined up, and it was sort of a demonstration situation of firing a M2 50 caliber heavy barrel, 1919 Browning machine gun, an MG34, an MG42, a Bren gun, a Vickers, and a few more. And being there, because I haven't fired any of those guns, but being within 20 feet of each one as they're being fired. So some I was probably 10 feet away from, others, you know, a little bit, but okay, maybe some of them maybe 30 feet away from them. I am hearing them for reality. I'm watching them. I'm feeling even though I'm behind them, I'm feeling the impact wave of, you know, the concussions from firing the guns. So I've experienced those guns, and I have fired 300 different firearms in my lifetime, maybe. I don't know, because of working in the firearms industry, and the company that I worked for would have once a year for a long weekend, 3-day weekend, they'd have a shooting festival in which people could go to. The manufacturers would, it was at a big shooting range, the manufacturers would have their own little tables set up with their guns, and you could pay money to shoot. You know, pay it was like $1 a bullet, and you could get up to like 5 bullets in your magazine, whatever the type more you could have, and you could test fire all of the guns. And because I worked for the company, and if I wore my company shirt, I could, one, jump to the front of the line and shoot the gun, and two, I didn't have to pay for it. And so I could go, and if I shot, like, and they'd have like maybe 10 or 12 guns or more for the company, you know, different models of Smith and Wesson revolvers, you know, current production, you know, and automatics, and, you know, so a good selection of the standard Smith and Wesson, and Glock and Springfield, and on and on and on and on, you know. And so, and normally, you know, people would get to fire, I'd maybe fire one or two of the guns and then go to another thing, come back, so I wasn't standing all day in front of everybody else shooting. And so easily within that day, I fired 60 to 80 different firearms just in one day, in just 5 rounds, you know, load, you know, because they'd, you know, hand me the gun in a loaded magazine, and I would shoot the 5 rounds or load the revolver with 5 rounds or whatever, and go to the next one and go to the next one. Plus, I've owned and shot all kinds of other collectible firearms, to the point I have some, you know, black powder muskets, flintlock muskets I've shot, to very modern stuff. So I have a wide experience, particularly with semi-autos. Starting to get into full autos, it gets very small. You know, I fired an Uzi, I fired an MP, I think it was an MP40, you know, the German submachine gun. I fired a few things, you know, in a magazine or two through these different things. And because another thing, I was able to fire the FAMAS, the French current, I think it's still current, 223 rifle, and other stuff like that. So I fired, you know, a few full auto things in my lifetime, and all kinds of semi-autos. But when I try to explain some of this to people, oh no, it isn't. And how do I go on and go and say more? They just don't want to believe me. Yes, okay. Buffering, yeah, okay. Sorry to hear about your buffering. Just reading through the chat, everybody later watching on. The SLR, yeah, the L1A1. I love the L1A1 slash FNFL. It's in my opinion one of the best semi-auto rifles in the world. The Lee Enfield. How many of you shot Patriotic Brit? I haven't shot a lot. I've shot 3 or 4 different ones. Really punishing when you talk about the jungle carbine. A bit punishing when you talk about the standard World War II model. But the FAL is just real. The SLR is really easy to shoot. Yeah, the Mad Minute. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I've never tried that with the Enfield. G41. Oh yeah, World War II. Yeah, but it just semi-automatic just really absorbs a lot of the recoil. It just really does. Okay, well, let's get back to this. Okay, I'll message you on Steam. Tip it. Okay, the Kawanishi. So we have that. That is a new designed flying boat. We're still in. Well, we're just in now 43 RC. Yeah, that would be good. That'll help us. Okay. And let's see about... Oh, we're having factory problems, but let's get this converted over. And so I know my statement's a bit overbold, a bit much, that Europeans shouldn't design war games, and I know that, but it just frustrates me sometimes, because I just see the American guy there with the M1 Garand, and I know that and a few other things just makes them devastating. And my Japanese with bolt-action rifles just should have incredibly difficult time standing up to them. And it isn't because they're American and they're so much better. This isn't national pride. This is knowing how good those weapons were and how well they worked. That is what I'm referring to. Because I'd make American troops fairly devastating because of that. Now, okay, oh, for some reason that's there. Okay, 413. Well, there we go, a little more balanced. I want to get these guys repaired. They are repairing, aren't they? I hope effectively, because yeah, they're getting better. Oh, what the hell? So I thought I clicked on the other guy. No, you're supposed to be supporting that attack. Thought I clicked down here. Support the attack. Okay, large submarine factories. Very good. Oh, yeah, that was previous. Okay, well, 43, actually, this is where we should be looking at, yes, factory output. We want to do that. How are we doing? Okay, Hong Kong still doesn't like me. We've got you there, and you have, oh. Okay, convert over to an occupation division with the police, that'll help. Okay, you are one with the police, I guess. Template. Yes, good. And we want to convert you over to an better occupation division. Okay. That'll help some. And mentioning that, you are more of a... No, let's look at your template. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, well, we are trying to improve our production, better equipment. We're running out of factories, where we're having problems. Notice we're down a lot, and I don't know what's going on entirely. We had been higher, I think. Well, I know we've been higher. Let's reduce that down. That'll get us some more. Let's look at equipment here. Goes Django. Okay, we need more artillery to fully equip our units, but we have enough tanks, so let's reduce our tank production. Not end it, reduce it. Okay. Flat guns. Let's see our flat gun production. Yeah, we can reduce that. Horse artillery, towing conveyances. Don't think. Whoa, are we building? Here, one. Yeah, we'll leave it as one. Field uniforms we can cut down on. That'll get us some more factories opened up. We do have 182,000 and we don't even have that many soldiers left. Submachine guns and light infantry equipment. We can maybe reduce that down by some. We'll leave it at 2. Amphibious warfare equipment. We'll need to increase that, and mountain warfare equipment. Well, we're only doing one of those anyways, mountain warfare. Okay, well that's helped some. We need more aluminum, I see that. So, we're already getting, okay, Beijing. Well, let's get Beijing 3. That'll help out a little bit. Yeah, I don't know in Black Ice how much the rifles affect things. I was at the time talking to somebody else, and know that they are a big thing. I am a big believer in firepower as a determinator of battles. Okay. See if we go to here, 5% instead of 4%. But we reduce political power gain, but we don't care too much about that. Division recovery rates in organizations. I don't like that, so I don't want to expand that. We're at expanded draft. Okay. Don't know that releasing our puppets would do much, because we're not really, because especially for Indonesia and China, we're not, I mean, these things here, we got a lot of them, but if you look at them, they're just 2 battalions, and sure, I can get rid of those and reduce it down, but they're not much in the way of problems, and they're probably not even needed there so much as should be sent other places. Yeah, that's a worry. You know, don't know. Well, I think we're going to end this episode. I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And, of course, I really love hearing from you, so please post a comment. Tell me how terrible I am and why. Okay, see you next time for more Hearts of Iron.